Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at a passage from John chapter 6. A little background information on what we're about to be reading. We're going to start in verse 30. But the day before, Jesus has just fed 5,000 people. And naturally, he just got really popular. He just fed miraculously all these people who were hungry. They were following him. They were listening to him. So the crowds keep pressing on Jesus. And so what he does is he tells his disciples to get on a boat and go to the other side of the lake that they're next to. And Jesus miraculously walks across the water. But by the time they get to the other side, there's already another crowd there waiting for him. They heard the deal. They heard that Jesus is giving away free food. And they're asking him for a sign. Jesus tells them right before what we're about to read, you're only following me because you had your fill of loaves. Like, you're not really following me for me. You just want the benefits that I come with. And this is that's the background to the conversation that we're about to enter in verse 30 here. So they said to him, "Then what sign do you do, that we may see you and believe you? What work do you perform? Our fathers ate the manna in the wilderness. As it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat." Jesus then said to him, "Truly, truly, I say to you, it was not Moses who gave you bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread of heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." And they said to him, "Sir, give us this bread always." And Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst. But I said to you that you've seen me, yet you don't believe. All that my Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me I will never cast out. For I have come down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. And this is the will of him who sent me, that I should not lose anything of all that he's given me, but on the last day raise it up. For this is the will of my Father, that everyone who looks on the Son and believes in him should have eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day." So the Jews grumbled about him, because he said, "I am the bread that comes down from heaven." And they said, "Is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How does he say that I come down from heaven?" And Jesus answered them, "Don't grumble among yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him. And I will raise him up on the last day. It's written in the prophets, and they all will be taught by God. Everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. Not that everyone has seen the Father, except he who is from God. He is the only one who has seen the Father. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes has eternal life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate manna in the wilderness, and they died. This is the bread that comes down from heaven, so that one may eat of it and not die. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And the bread that I give for the life of the world is my flesh." The conversation keeps going, but we get the picture here. The people are coming and they're asking for bread. They're trying to take advantage of Jesus' miracles. And what Jesus says here is, what are you doing? You're after this bread. You're after this worldly physical loaf, but you should be after this bread. I am the bread of life. Jesus here is saying, look, I'm the one who sustains you. I am the one who can revitalize you, who can nourish you, who can give you energy. And we get a lot of interesting imagery through all of this. We have verse 40 when it says, "Everyone who looks at the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life." That should make your mind's eye go back to Exodus, when they're in the wilderness and they're all getting bit by snakes, and there's a snake that's risen up, and when they look upon it, they're healed and they're fine and they live. And then we keep going down and we see that he's the living bread. Okay? And when you eat of this, you live forever. So then in your mind's eye, you should be rushing back to the first pages of the Bible, where we encounter this thing called the tree of life, where if you eat of it, you live forever. Somehow God's life energy is represented in this tree, and you're allowed to partake of it. And Jesus is saying, look, I am the bread of life. If you eat of me, you'll live forever. I am this new tree of life figure that we're talking about here. I am the one who, if you eat and partake of me, you will live forever. You will have God's life inside of you. And if we were to keep reading, he extrapolates on this a little bit. But this is what I want us to wrestle with today. I want you to think, why do you follow Jesus? The crowds here, they were following Jesus for all the benefits that he gave. It was convenient for them to follow Jesus because they believed, well, if I follow him, then I'll get all this stuff. I'll be fed. I won't have to pay for food. I won't have to do all these different things. But Jesus realized you're after something else, but what you should be after is me. In your relationship with Jesus, what are you looking for? What is important to you? Is it the things that God gives you? Is it the blessings? Or is it the life that God gives you that comes from himself? Jesus says, I am the bread of life. And when Jesus says something about himself, we better pay attention. We better listen close. Because it's not often that God just goes off and describes himself in any sort of way. So in the few times in the Bible where we have this, we should really cue in and hear Jesus telling us, I am the bread of life. I want to encourage you, if you haven't partaken of this yet, if you are following Jesus and you're just really following him because it's convenient, because it seems to be helpful, because now you have a community of friends because of all this, and for any other reason other than for the life and love that he gives you, I encourage you to reevaluate. I encourage you to take a look at who Jesus said that he was and what Jesus said he was doing. Because here, Jesus doesn't just want to bless you. He wants to make you live. So that's our thought for today. If you want to be notified whenever we put up another one of these videos, you can subscribe to the channel, you can click the bell icon. But until then, we'll see you next time.